Hey everyone, so today we'll discuss about checked exception and unchecked exceptions in Java. So anyone who is doing Java programming must have handled the exceptions in their code. And so there are typically two kinds of exceptions, checked and unchecked. So something which is coming at the compile time is called checked, and something which is coming at the runtime for which Java compiler doesn't give error, that is runtime. On a very higher level, throwable is the parent class. Which has two error and exceptions, and error we cannot handle, only exceptions we can handle through our code. And runtime exceptions are such as IO exceptions or SQL exceptions. Arithmetic exception, null pointer exception are the runtime exception. Checked exceptions are such as IO exception or SQL exception. These for checked exception, the compiler will give you error. It won't allow your code to get executed. So what are the differences? So checked exception is not subclass of runtime exception, whereas unchecked exception is subclass of runtime exception. As I said, unchecked exception, if not caught, method may specify to be thrown. In case of checked exception, if not caught, method must specify to be thrown. So unchecked exception, it is not mandatory to throw. For errors that the programmer cannot directly prevent from occurring, that is checked, and for errors that the programmers can directly prevent from occurring, unchecked. IO exception, file not found exception, socket exception are kind of check exception example, and in case of unchecked exception, null pointer exception, illegal argument exception, and are some of the examples of unchecked exceptions. So both checked and unchecked comes under exception classes. Java has two types of exception. They are checked and unchecked exceptions. Throwable class is base for all the classes which can be thrown by a method. Error, this class denotes an abnormal condition. The error and any of its subsets should not be caught as they are fatal. Runtime exception, this is the type of unchecked exception, and this means Java compiler won't force the developer to handle this exception. Any class derived from it falls under unchecked exception. On a very high level, you can see the kind of errors that can be thrown: assertion error, linkage error, stack overflow, any internal error, virtual memory error. Runtime exception can be null pointer, arithmetic, number format exception, class cast exception, index auto bounds exception, and in case of checked exception, some of the examples can be SQL exception, IO exceptions, etc. Now, as we have gone through the multiple type of checked exception and unchecked exceptions, all the classes that extend runtime exception and all the classes that extends error class form collectively the unchecked exceptions, and the remaining classes that are not extended either of the above mentioned classes form collectively the checked exceptions, and that you can see from this diagram as well. Now, one of the examples where we see that compiler gives error in case of checked exception, it also tells you what to do. Typically, we surround it with a try and catch, so that if any error comes, it can be catched and the program will not terminate. So try catch block is one of the easiest way through which you can handle this exceptions, checked exceptions. So that's on a very high level. These are the list that you can go through by pausing the video as well for checked exception and unchecked exceptions. You can go through the differences as well again. So that's all from today for checked exception and unchecked exceptions. So you just need to remember on a high level, compiler gives you error. For checked exception, this is at compile time. Unchecked exception are kind of runtime exception that typically comes while running the program, and for checked exception you can use try catch block to handle it. Okay, so that's all from today's video. I hope you got some information from this video. If you think the videos are helpful, do like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much.